You would never be allowed to do that these days.
Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Visual Effects Artists React. We're gonna be looking at some crazy helicopter stunts. We're gonna be breaking down the intro to Severance. Everyone's been sending it to us. We're finally looking at it.
I'm gonna show these guys a dog monster. That's very weird and creepy.
And we'll be breaking down the visual effects of someone who actually used to work here not that long ago. It's the movie Heretic.
New merch just dropped. It's limited edition, only available for 1 week. Go to corridordigital.store to get yours. Available in both t-shirt and hoodie.
Have you guys seen Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
No.
No.
Okay, well, it involves body snatchers and aliens and things like that.
Yellow unless you're loading or
Ew. Gross. Well, that's great. I mean, that made my day.
Wait, what the heck?
It's the lick for me.
Yeah, it's all about that. Like, so this is a real mask on a dog.
Ew.
When you can't sleep and you see that thing, you're not just like right away, that's a pig with a mask. You're like, that's gonna kill me. That's real. That lives with us on Earth.
Dude, do you think they sprinkled some like peanut butter dust on that lip or something?
Dude, the director wants to be like, yes, 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 he did it.
There's not much to unpack, but there's so much to appreciate.
This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life.
What the f? What the f?
All right, so Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Really cool little moment there. And there's all these crazy films from like the 70s and early 80s, horror films that people don't really talk about anymore that have crazy one-off effects. So please leave a recommendation for some 70s and 80s films, single moments that are like, oh my God, they put all their effects points into that one shot. I would love to get some suggestions. The dog head man, that was a comment suggestion, so more of those, please.
Speaking of cool visuals and unique concepts, I wanted to bring Severance Season 2 to the table. I don't know if you guys are watching Severance.
Severance?
Severance, yeah.
Severance.
Yeah.
I have not watched Severance. I watched the first episode of season 1 and was like, this is not for me.
Oh, you must continue. What I want to look at first is the actual opening shot of the episode itself.
Whoa. It's like isometric.
That's like robot arm type stuff. But then it's a moving shot. Okay, so did they transition to a...
Oh man, this
so
is a lot of stitching.
Oh, transition point there.
Yeah. Also, a person running a Steadicam would not be able to navigate these corners. So those have to be CG walls.
None of these walls are real. The walls are not real. The camera was going through the walls there when it dipped down low.
I don't think you need to watch the show. I think you figured it out.
Yep. Yeah.
So what would you say if I told you that entire sequence was an uncut oneer?
I would
No
believe you.
way.
Yeah, because it's not. There's cuts.
I saw multiple transition spots.
Tell me how many hidden cuts there are. And 2, let me know what different techniques you think they used.
I'm gonna guess basically 14 to 15 cuts to get up to this point. And the main thing that I feel like informs the cuts is less of like, oh, we need to just like, we can't do any more action in the shot, because there's long shots. It's that they switch techniques. It's like, okay, here we need to do a high angle, so we need to switch rigs in the camera. Here we need to do a vertigo effect, so we need to switch lenses. Here we need to do the robot arm movement, so we're gonna switch to the robot arm rig. And I feel like it's a mix of Steadicam, some robot arm stuff like what we have, probably some dolly and track, and probably in what I would guess is a big warehouse with some top-down lighting and like tape on the floor for him to run around.
So the camera's obviously clipping through the left wall there. But then that turn right there, he does go off frame, so that would be a really ideal place to like cut to a different shot, but I'm willing to bet that's still the same camera move.
I think it was a cut because they do that vertigo effect right afterwards, and I think they needed to go to a special rig for that. And also, like, his motion doesn't quite match perfectly.
I think that was a CG vertigo effect. I don't think they did anything with lenses for that.
Ooh, you might be right.
Usually it's this thing called the Cooper. It works with a laser. If you're pushing the dolly forward, which is human operated, it's calculating a distance on the ground. And when it's mapping out this distance, it's compensating with the zoom. So if your dolly's going faster, it's called a zolly ultimately. Like the zolly will change speed as well. So it's adaptive.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Because a vertigo zoom is just simply physically moving the camera in one direction and then zooming in, AKA cropping into the footage to try to neutralize that effect of widening out as you back up and you get that weird compression effect.
Or the opposite, where you move in while zooming out.
Right.
Purportedly, there are a total of only 10 cuts throughout this sequence, so not quite as many as you guys think. And Niko, you're right, it's based on the different approaches that they are taking. So much so that I was like, what motion capture arm is even capable of this? And they used what's called the Bolt.
Bolt's
If you're
the fast
familiar,
one. We have a Sisu here, by the way. Shout out to Sisu.
hey, Sisu. The Bolt is the fastest motion control arm out there right now. It can go 12 meters per second,
Wow.
which is the
really
equivalent of, I
fast.
think it's 26.8 miles per hour. Another technique that they used is not actually Steadicam. This is all shot on a gimbal.
Oh, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
the Steadicam rig, typically you're talking 10 pounds to 20 pounds with nothing on it. You start adding cameras and stuff and you're talking 90 plus pounds of weight. So it's really interesting. I mean, they have a very talented op, obviously running with Adam here. And we obviously are cutting for timing. So like here is a great cut point.
Oh, yeah.
Really weird wraparound shot all of a
Yeah.
sudden. So for that, we're back on the robot arm.
And then he's on a track by then. Or he's on a treadmill.
What would you say if I told you, and this one's for real, that the vast majority of the hallways are completely practical? They have removed certain portions of the walls when needed, but they have built out so many sections of this entire baseline set because they're constantly filming there, and they try to avoid CG background placements as much as is possible. How long do you think it typically takes to film something like this?
I don't know, $1.50.
About 50?
Probably one take per shot.
One take per shot?
Yeah, they're all really good.
As
So they
far
just,
as-
Just nailing it. I bet this was a 2-week shoot.
2-week shoot.
One day.
One day. This sequence took place over 4 to 5 months.
Oh my God.
Because they have all of these different sections of this environment built. They're all practical sets.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
certain sections required dismantling certain areas, and scheduling wise, they couldn't make sense of it unless it fit on very certain days. And also when he's in the elevator, we have a bolt wrapping around him inside of an elevator. Impossible. So the entire back wall is CG as well.
Oh, I
to give
assumed
them
inside
space.
the elevator wasn't a bolt.
That was a bolt.
How did it go all the way around him? If you have a robot arm, it goes from a single point, unless it's going up and down and going around. You know for a fact this shot's on the bolt.
That's on the bolt.
You know for a fact.
I know for a fact. That's as far as I can take it.
I think in the elevator, they just have a tripod set up on a circular dolly.
This opening shot on Adam, if I was the base of the bolt arm, I'm here and it has an arm like this and it kind of goes around.
This is my evidence, right? Ben Stiller was breaking down this section, and he explained that the back walls there that we were seeing in the elevator were green screen, fully replaced because you could see the bolt.
Green screen behind him. And then the bolt arm's going around Adam's head here and then pushing behind him. This is all real, but then here, all of this is all computer generated behind Adam also.
Yeah, I guess I'm just trying to say that it's it's a unique challenge for a robot arm.
But really cool sequence. Super duper fun start to the season. Definitely check it out if you haven't seen it yet. I'm talking to you guys, even though I'm looking at them.
This video is brought to you by Vessi. If you're gonna be running through the endless hallways of your office, you need to grab yourself a pair of Vessis. I'm wearing the Storm Burst, which are highly durable, and as you can see, super lightweight. I heard your Audi likes hiking. Well, that's cool because Vessis are 100% waterproof, so they never have to worry about changing their shoes or not being dry. Us Indies don't really know what the weather is outside. It could be raining, it could be snowing, it could be warm, but thanks to Vessi's climate-controlled Dymatex material, we know that our Audi's feet are always at the perfect temperature. If you want to use your work perks for something nice, head on over to Vessi.com/quartercrew for 15% off your first purchase. It's the door I was looking for the whole time. Get back to React.
Quarterdigital.com. How fast can I say it and how you still understand it?
Quarterdigital.com.
How fast can you guys say it?
Quarterdigital.com.
That was pretty articulate.
Quarterdigital.com.
All right, we're gonna look at an Indian film, Adipurush, which has some crazy CGI, bonkers CGI.
Both good and janky ways.
Unfortunately, Indian cinema has become very protective over their clips, and we've found our episodes are becoming just straight up blocked on YouTube. They don't just claim the ad revenue, they block the episodes.
And if you want to enjoy all of that with us, head to quarterdigital.com.
So that's on our extended episode here at quarterdigital.com. You can sign up for $3.99 a month. There's a bunch of amazing extended React episodes with incredible stories, funny moments, hot takes that we tend not to put on YouTube, inappropriate jokes. We also have the vlogs. We also have our live podcast every Wednesday. We also have a deep dive into visual effects of the projects we're working on every Friday. Yeah, you also get these episodes early. You also get 15% off merch. There's also no advertisements. There's also a really sick app.
I digress. $3.99 a month. We love it to have your support. Thank you so much for the people that are supporting us there.
And you can get a free 2-week trial if you don't have one already. Ugh. Imagine if Jigsaw from Saw was like huge in rants. Premise of this movie is that there's these two missionaries and they get trapped in this house by this guy. It's a bunch of like cat and mouse puzzle games to kind of get out of the place. But there's this really, really cool shot. And the reason why I wanted to look at this shot from this movie is because the VFX supervisor on this movie is our good friend Fenner Rockcliffe.
Oh, this is it. Oh, I haven't seen this. Oh, Fenner, hi.
Yeah, so Fenner, of course, left Corridor like a couple years ago, and he's been working on his own visual effects company called Niche VFX. And they spent a lot of time working with the directors on this movie, doing all the visual effects shots, and it culminated in one of the coolest shots that they had for the entire piece, which we're gonna watch right now.
What a cool shot. What a trippy, oh my god.
That's cool, so you can see like where she is in the house.
That's freaking awesome.
This was a really interesting shot. How would you guys approach doing something like this?
Ideally, I'd have a practical ladder and tunnel area that you can climb up. And once you get to a point where like, you're at the top of the ladder, I would assume that I could extend the hallway with 3D animation, CGI, which I would assume that's what this is here now.
If I was gonna do this, I would do practical shot with ladder, an actual shaft there. Once she crosses over the threshold of that door, that's an easy stitch point for possibly a full CG takeover.
Or a green screen
for
shot.
For the
of her.
environment, or yeah, green screen shot or some plate photography of her just running down a hallway. And then of course, simply pulling up out of that miniature and then upping the rest of the shot would give you enough to composite in the previous version of that.
So you guys basically nailed the gist of it. There's a few different elements and plates that they're stitching together. There's the one where she's actually climbing the ladder. She's on a blue screen and she's actually walking down a lined out hallway that's in the same shape as this diorama here. And then there's a real plate where the camera's actually pulling out of the diorama and then tilts up to reveal her entering the room. But there's also a CG takeover to merge those two shots together.
Oh, I see it. I see it. I see it. I saw the CG takeover. So you look at that line where the mouse is, watch the it slide over itself just a little bit there.
I saw, yeah.
Yes, yeah, you're right, you're totally right. You're totally right.
Yeah, wow, okay. Now that I see it, I really see it. Fenner was saying that like this was such a huge combination of all the different departments, art department, prop making. They had a very highly detailed like SketchUp model of this entire diorama and they were able to recreate that in CG and then basically project a whole bunch of high-res pictures that they took of the real thing onto the CG model. So the camera pulling up outside of the real ladder there eventually hits a point where it stops because there's a ceiling. You can't go any higher. So that's a camera move that has to be married to the end of the shot where there's a real camera pulling out of the diorama. And so to connect those two together, you have a camera move that goes to this point, then you have another camera move that starts up here and keeps going. This in-between part is what they're using a CG takeover for. And of course, there's the whole element of her climbing onto the thing and then walking down the hallway there, on top of actually getting the timing right, because they wanted her to match up opening the door with the small version of her opening the door as well.
Oh, I didn't even pick up on that. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, then there's where the camera stops and they have to marry that footage. Yeah, it's tricky. That's so tricky to have to like have some footage stop and the other keeps going. Also, another challenge is the lighting changing as the camera moves through the tunnel because the camera's blocking the lighting.
Right, yeah. So here's all the blue screen takes. So what makes this interesting is that notice that the camera is static. It's locked off. And they did it from high enough away that they're able to use that as more or less an orthogonal viewpoint. They can then take that and project that onto the geometry of the diorama.
It's so interesting. I guess it makes sense, yeah, because you got to frame it for the entire move. Because normally you obviously want them to fill as much frame as possible just for the sake of the key and the resolution of the footage. But I guess in this case, that motion really is everything.
And you have to hope as a director that it's like going to be cool and not lame when you put it all together. And
yeah.
It's like, oh, that's boring. I just wasted 2 minutes of people's time versus like, oh, that's sick. This is awesome.
But like this seems like the type of shot that makes movie making fun to do,
Yeah.
I'm sure Fenner and the team had a lot of fun on this.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see the Halo short, Fenner.
Yeah.
You guys know where Dr. Evil comes from Austin Powers?
Probably from like his mother.
So there's an opening sequence from an old James Bond film called For Your Eyes Only. And it's got some crazy helicopter stuff going on.
Whoa, dude, that dive.
There's a shark in there?
Wait, no,
Oh, wait, was that a shadow? That wasn't a shark.
That's just a helicopter shadow.
It was like a Compton shark shadow or something.
I was like, I didn't see a fin.
I didn't get much sleep last night.
So we've talked about wire paintouts, right? Modern CGI lets you paint out wires and do crazy things. But in the days before wire paintouts,
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yo. Yo.
Whoa! What? That's crazy.
What?
you would never be allowed to do that these days.
Whoa! Was that a real guy? That is, yeah, that's totally a real guy.
That might be the craziest helicopter stunt I've ever seen. And we had Fred North on the couch.
With my work, I will cut your balls in your sleep.
Yeah, with a dude sitting right there. That's what makes it so crazy.
Gosh.
And they do, by the way, have a stuntman doing this without a wire.
Oh my gosh, what do you mean?
Because they can't paint out wires in some of these shots, so he's doing it without a wire.
What?
What? He's just actually holding on?
Did they not have laws in the 80s?
No.
That's crazy. And they don't have an Oscar category. Whoa! Are they using miniatures for any of this?
You tell me.
Oh, that's incredible. That's incredible.
I'm gonna drop him down the smokestack.
All right, keep your hair on.
Good doll!
Early onset rigor mortis, dude. Oh man. Hey, you'd be tense too if you were on the end of a helicopter like that, all right?
Mr. Ball!
There he goes, you called it.
Wait, that
Full
was
incineration.
That was a comp.
Also, I didn't know James Bond brutally murdered.
Yeah, he just definitely violated that guy's Miranda rights and everything.
Yeah, that's
that was an execution.
That was a war crime. So you think this is a comp shot?
I think
Well,
that
it looked weird.
there's no way that you pull off that stunt for real to scale in the moment. That is too hard of a drop shot.
The way it falls looks very weird to me, but then when the shadow goes over, it's so flawless that I'm like, I guess the rest of it has to be real.
I think we're looking at a comp. I would be pretty confident that we're looking at a comp.
But is it just me, or does the way it falls off the helicopter and then drops just look really weird?
It does look weird. It does look weird.
It does look weird. It's a comp shot. I'm going by comp shot. This is pre-compositing and pre-dude perfect. You can't pull off a trick shot like that. People miss wide open layups in basketball. You can't do this with a helicopter. There's no freaking way, Niko. Hold on, but did they?
You can't
There's no way.
I will tell you once I have a vote from Wren.
Okay.
No, I know.
Ren, we did see they had a stiff dummy. They did have a full to scale stiff dummy.
Exactly.
Wedged on the end.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm pivoting. It's real.
He slows down after he starts falling. It's like he goes off the rails and then
It's a comp shot.
he starts falling, and the rate of falling isn't matching like what I think acceleration should be. I don't know.
I'm in the bed. I've tucked myself into comp shot.
So Mark Wolf served in Vietnam.
Oh, I
It's
know
real.
the Vietnam frickin' helicopter pilots are some of the best pilots ever.
It's real, isn't
And they
it?
rigged up an air cannon to shoot the wheelchair off the helicopter. And they had 3 wheelchairs with dummies, and he aced every single shot.
son of a
Knew it.
gun.
I knew it.
He dunked every single
Why
shot.
did I say it
into
was a
that
comp
chimney.
shot? I knew better. I knew better.
I literally,
All
technically,
logic told me it couldn't have possibly been a comp shot.
technically speaking, on camera, I did say it's real, and maybe the editor, whoever that is, check your wallet. It might be a little fatter if you hook me up. We're looking at a comp. We're looking at a comp. I'm going by comp shot. Comp shot, comp shot. It's a comp shot. You can't pull off a trick shot like that.
Here's why it looks fake. So one, there's an air cannon, so it's
The air cannon.
because the
They're off the
wheelchair
physics.
wouldn't actually slide off the helicopter, and you can't have that while you're flying up there either, right?
Yeah.
So it's actually secured. It shoots it off, and then naturally it stops pushing forwards when it runs out of air cannon length and drops straight down. So you get this weird like.
Wow. Really, the thing that caught our eye as being the trigger for it being a comp shot is the thing that made it possible in real life.
And there's one other little thing that's happening that's subtle. They're shooting at a high shutter speed, so you get a little bit of motion blur, but not a lot of motion blur, and so you get what looks like a comp shot of like this slightly blurred figure, a doll effectively dropping straight down. If the motion blur was longer, it'd look more real. If it was even shorter, it'd look more real, but it's right in this sweet spot.
Yeah, it
So
just looks like bad motion blur.
It
Yeah.
does. So it's all these little things making it look fake that are coming together here.
Which means that, it's understandable that we thought it was a comp shot.
Well, that was a lot of fun. See you guys next week. Thanks for watching.
They do that now, right?
What are you doing?
It's a little heart.
Kids these days do it like
Oh, what the
this
heck?
now. They like, you know.
Hey guys, new shirt for sale. The deconstructed corridor logo. It's on sale right now, corridordigital.store, limited edition. Oh, this one right here, this is coming up next. Don't look at it. Look at this one, corridordigital.store. Go get it now. It won't be there anymore.
And if your arms are cold, it comes in the long sleeve.
Wren, will you stand up and give us a little twirl? You look great.
T-pose twirl.
360, you can turn that into a 3D model now if you want.